I been out? Five Nights at Freddy's was released all the way back in 2014, which is 10 years ago. Now, back in 2014, I was the ripe old age of 9, the perfect age to get sucked into an internet fandom. I get sucked I did. It's a terrible joke, he's 9. Five Nights at Freddy's is a game that would kickstart possibly the biggest horror franchise in recent memory and give a huge facelift to the mascot horror subgenre. Let's be real, what is there left to say about the first FNaF game? Far from perfect, but definitely the scariest in the series, giving me nightmares for the following years until the age of 12, it's all been said. You know FNaF, I know FNaF, we all know Freddy Fazbear's. FNaF 1, despite being a fairly simple and solid beginning entry for the series, also paved the way for ever-increasing, intense, contrived, and occasionally downright stupid lore. Now, we all know that FNaF 1's lore is much tamer in comparison to its sequels. The secret newspaper clippings, the MS Paint children, the pre-recorded phone calls, and Golden Freddy are basically all the pieces of evidence for a bigger story at play in the original. And don't get me wrong, all these bits of the story are very crucial when it comes to the wider FNaF lore. But before any of the other games cleared up and added upon what there was, all we had were incredibly loose threads. And because this, people went wild with all their ideas. Some people went a little wilder than others. Matthew Matrick from Game Theory's initial theory on the game was that we were actually dreaming and playing as the murderer of the children. Which, I mean, Ultimate Custom Night exists, so he gets bonus points for accidentally predicting one of the future games in the series. There was another theory that Phone Guy was stuffed in Chica, an enviable position for many, I'm sure. And I distinctly remember the 8-bit gaming theory about the man in the monitor, which 9-year-old me ate the fuck up. But looking back on it now... what? Of course, these are all interesting theories, but there was one that stood out compared to the rest. One that got even 9-year-old me riled up and fucking pissed. And that is the good guy Foxy theory. So the theory goes that Foxy, the pirate fox, isn't actually trying to kill you, he's just running into your office to help you with the other animatronics? Now, the reason that people say this is because he's the only one not to jump scare you up close, and the reason you get a game over is because your character suffers a fatal heart attack and dies. Okay. And he does the stock screamer sound effect because his voice box is broken. I think you're able to see quite a few issues with this one already. This hat is way too small for my head. I bought this shit when I was 15. First off, why is he trying to help us? What reason does he have? Second off, no duh, he doesn't jump scare you up close. The transition of the animation would look fucking stupid. Third on the list, why is it this that causes our character to suffer a heart attack? Why don't any of the other frightening moments, excluding the jump scares, count? And fucking finally, the worst offender of them all, broken voice box. Are you fucking kidding? Not only is Foxy the only animatronic that has anything close to dialogue with his scatting in Pirate Cove, don't Google that. But his screamer sound effect is literally identical to all the other ones in the game, minus Yellow Bear. Which would imply that all the other animatronics also have faulty voice boxes. But Freddy's power down sequence would disprove that. And that's not even the end of it! If I recall correctly, the reason people could tell that Foxy's voice box is supposedly messed up is because his mouth swings open when he enters the office. And you want to know the leading theory why his mouth swung open? It's because he ate a child. A child's head, to be specific. That's not exactly hero behavior.
They used to be allowed to walk around during the day, too. But then there was a bite of 87.
I'm not an angry person. But the sheer fucking vitriol I have for this dog shit FNaF theory is genuinely worrying. I am sorry, whoever made this monstrosity. In these 10 years, I hope you're doing better, because if I made this fucking sheer piece of garbage, I would hope I'm doing better too. Bye, fuck off, go outside, read a book. I'm genuinely fucking riled up. Five Nights at Freddy's would the first Five Nights at Freddy's game would kickstart what is possibly the biggest franchise in the horror genre. The first Five Nights at Freddy's...